And so it was back at the Lake Point Sports Complex in Emerson, Georgia. Metro Atlanta is the site for this winner-take-all 2020 Travel Ball Select 11U National Championship game when Virginia takes on Texas. Two great youth sports hotbeds. For that matter, no matter the sport, it's Banditos Black taking on Stars Future. Thanks for joining us, everybody, right back here on Facebook Live. Travel Ball Select on Facebook Live. Here with your play-by-play story for the final game of our long week of action. I'm Chris Mooneyham. I'll be joined by Rick Goff at some point throughout our broadcast tonight. Well, I assume. Rick, the national director of Travel Ball Select, busy guy, got a lot of things going on right now. He's crowning national champions after all. But I anticipate we'll see him at some point for our broadcast. If you're just tuning in, and you happen to be tuning in, I'd be surprised. Most of you know, of course, the reason we're here is because Virginia came away with a win in the first of our two potential championship games, 20-13, the final in that ball game. As they've come out of the elimination bracket, they took down Banditos Black from Texas out of the winner's bracket to force this winner-take-all ball game. Both teams now with one loss in bracketed play. It's a double elimination, 10-team tournament. So that means that once you get those two losses, you're out, and now both of these teams sitting with one loss. So here we go as we get ready to begin this last game of the week in any classification, much less here in the 11U classification. A ground ball to start things at short. Throw across for out number one. That's Jared Grindlinger. Grindlinger had himself quite the game one. 3 walks, 2 hits. And here's Nico Moritz. William Beck, by the way, is the man on the mound for Banditos Black from the state of Texas. William Beck. Charged with the task of trying to get some outs, keep his team from having to dive into the rest of the pitching staff. Both of these teams tired. They've been playing all week. They're thin with their top flight pitching. Some of these guys have reached the innings limit, no doubt. So this could be an interesting ball game to, well, say the least. National championship on the line. Ground ball at first, but foul. One man gone. Top half of the first inning. Nico drove in 2 runs in the first of our 2 championship games. Scored twice. Single, walk, double. Lefty waits the deal from Beck, the righty. And this one he's chopped down to first, but it stays fair. 2 men gone. And now Juan Rivera. Rivera played a couple of runs in the first game of the championships. Couple of walks, hit by a pitch. Curiously, did not have a hit in our first game between these two teams. That's really something. Did not have a hit. In fact, he may have been the only man. Let's see. First the pitch. Just shot foul. No. One of only 2 men in the lineup who had more than one at-bat, who did not have a base hit. Called strike 3, outside corner. Quick work at the top of the first inning from number 14, William Beck. Bottom of the first, coming up next. Bottom half of the first inning, Texas to the plate now. Banditos black. The leadoff man, Colson Cajal. And the first delivery to him is high and sailing away from Jose Rodriguez Dubront. Starting pitcher for Virginia. Young man who had one of the biggest hits of the first of our two championship games. 2-run home run in the fifth inning that broke an 11-11 tie. Gave them a lead they would never, well, I say never relinquished, but they never trailed once again after that. They were tied at 13 apiece going into the final inning. Colson had himself a good first game. Scored a couple times, had a base hit. Texans led by head coach Corey Gafford. Meanwhile, Mike Colangelo leading the men from Virginia. Swing and a miss. Alex Hernandez. Alex on base one time in the first game of the national championships via a walk. Banditos black from the state of Texas, the number one team entering bracketed play, outscored their opponents by just 4 runs entering that last ball game. So now, remarkably, they've been outscored in championship bracket play, 39-36. Meanwhile, the Virginians have scored a whopping 54 runs in bracket play. 54-27, they've outscored their opponents. Swing and a miss. Well, both teams starting slowly offensively in this one. Here's Francisco Soria. Now a good time, I suppose, to get into big storyline in this ball game. We are under a time limit in this affair. Wouldn't you know, I forgot to look, see what time we started. But we are under a time limit in this ball game. Rick Goff will be keeping the time, I'm sure, and I'll check in with him periodically. Time limit of 1:45 so the kids don't play late. Now, national championships, not under a time limit, usually. But once you get to a point like this where you played an extremely long marathon-type ball game in the first game, and you get to this double elimination, winner-take-all type ball game, I mean, look, we could be here until midnight tonight with the way these two teams have been hitting the baseball as of late. So Rick went down to both coaches, their staffs, and had a conversation with them, and they settled on a time limit indeed and a time of 1:45. So I guess about 11 o'clock or so. Well, that might not be right. At 11:15, we'll get it sorted out, and I'll let you know. I'll explain in greater depth what the time limit means as we get deeper into the ball game. Strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. The 20-13 victory for Virginia over Texas was the first loss all week for Texas. Now 7-1 on the week. Whereas the win by Virginia increased their record to 7-2. 7-2. Ground ball foul. The Virginians with only 2 losses, as I just mentioned, one of which came to this Texas club in the championship of the winners bracket, and they lost their very first game to a team from South Carolina by a 2-1 final. That seems like it was ages ago. That was way back on Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. How about a 1-2-3 inning out of these two teams? Things are getting wild. We had a 20-13 ball game with 22 walks in the first game, and now both teams go 1-2-3 in the second game. No score. So the time to watch is right about 11:20 or so, Eastern Standard Time. That would take us to the hour 45-minute mark and the time limit to this ball game. Maybe we'll get a one-hitter and a two-hitter out of these two pitchers, and we'll get to it quicker. I doubt it. I doubt it. Jose Rodriguez Dubron. Smokes one into the gap in left center field, and that ball's got a chance to get all the way to the wall, and does. Now, center fielder does a great job of getting to it. Chance at a relay throw, and he's safe, sliding in head first. It'll be a double for Jose Rodriguez Dubron. Wonder what the exit velocity was on that one. Actually, check that. I don't. Here's Tegan Leach. Leach moved up a spot in the batting order. Mike Colangelo's squad. First run of the ball game, standing down at first, potentially. We had ourselves a courtesy runner check into the ball game, as you no doubt noticed. Wait a minute now, number 2. Oh boy, I do not have 2 on my roster sheet, folks. Leach to left and foul. That one a little straighter than the last, but still foul. Big curveball. Flew out a little early. At short. I got to try to cut down that lead run. Got him in a rundown. Third baseman. Second baseman now. Shortstop covering. And they'll lay the tag down. Now Leach, by the way, in the interim, does a great job of getting down to the second base bag. So he's down in scoring position with one man out, reaching on a fielder's choice, of course. And here's Chase Colangelo. Colangelo a double and 4 trips to the plate in the first game between these two squads. Scored a run after that double. He's got Tegan Leach in scoring position with one man out. Not the first time we've said that today. Leach was on base 3 times in Game 1 of the championships. 1-1 stays low, mark it 2-1. Try to throw in behind the runner, and he's safe. center field, falling for a base hit. They're going to hold up Leach as he struggles to get over the third base bag. They were waving him at first, and then the third base coach had the opportunity to eye up the throw that was coming from center field. They held Leach at the third base bag, and runners are at the corners with one man out, and that'll prompt a conversation. Corey Gafford and his squad. Single for Colangelo. Both teams went down 1-2-3 in the first inning. A bit of irony considering the two games between these two teams in bracketed play, where they played a 9-8 ball game and a 20-13 affair. Chase Fuller started with a strike. Chase on base twice with a walk and a 2 RBI double in that 20-13 ball game. Cut on and missed. Runner breaking down to the second base bag. Ball squirts out of the glove of the covering man at second. He's safe down there, and he's safe at home. Leach comes home to score and draw first blood in the national championship game. The difference between catching that and not. Breaking ball in tight on Fuller. He's able to dance out of the way. (28-22). The run scored in this, in the 29-22, I guess, to be precise, now that this run's come across. That's a scoring ledger between these two teams here today. This is the third time today these two teams have met. Keep that in mind. Bounces up there. Runner advancing to third. Don't forget that these two teams met in the as undefeated teams in the championship game of the winners bracket. Again, Texas won it 9-8. Sent Virginia into the losers bracket. They won their ball game easily after that, 11-3 the final over a really good Georgia club, the number 2 seed, as a matter of fact. Fouled back. And that was a great matchup in and of itself. Dingers hung 11. I'm sorry. Virginia hung 11 on the Dingers of Georgia, Dingers Athletics, to get themselves a rematch with Texas. Won that one 20-13, and now here we are again with a third matchup between these two teams. So again, 29-22. The ball gets away. He's going to retreat back to the third base bag. Here comes the throw. That's a one-hopper. That's not always the decision you want, to throw down to third in a rush like that. A lot of coaches will tell you, no, 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 stick that one in your back pocket. Matchups between these two teams are turning into legendary status now. Beck set. Righty deals. Inside corner, called strike 3. Second out of the inning. Second strikeout. Now Fuller better be careful now. As animated as he was. Bunt laid down, but it squirts foul. This is Yogi Colangelo. Colangelo used in a pinch running courtesy running role quite actively, I might add. In game one of the championships, did not start in the field or at the plate. Doesn't mean he wasn't involved. First at bat. Got a piece, foul tipped into the glove of the catcher, Taylor. 1-2 count. Drops foul. Good battle here by Colangelo. Just above the letters. Surprised Colangelo took that one. Beck wanted the call. You could see him, the look on his face as he was headed back to the mound. What will they go with here? 3 balls, 2 strike, 2 out delivery. And he walked him. Well, there's our first walk of the ball game, and if you were not with us for the 20-13 ball game between these two teams, we had 22 walks in that ball game. Runner going from first. Colangelo, feet first sliding, out! Oh my! This may be reviewable. We may be about to see a challenge on this play. This is going to be awfully, awfully close. He should be. Well, now wait a minute. You know, at first blush, I thought he was going to be safe, and I assumed I'd see that on the replay, but his foot may have skirted right past the bag, and then the tag is made on the knee. This might be a view that helps us. Does his foot slide over the bag or past the bag? This is the way to look at it. I'm not so sure about that. One of our production staff saying he's safe, he's safe. I got to be honest with you, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know that his... Take a look, boys. I don't know that his foot did touch the bag. Well, his foot definitely came off of the bag.
He's off right there.
Give him the other replay, Patrick. Give him the other angle.
You had him out.
You'll want to see this other angle here, guys, as we're running it.
I got him out right there.
Yeah.
I got him on the bag with his right foot first. His right foot came off and he got tagged.
Remember, the original call was out. So just like in any replay that you will see at any level, the officials here want to see conclusive evidence to reverse the call that was made on the field. And I don't believe that these replays, I don't believe that that changed anyone's mind. I don't think that that was conclusive overly that he was safe on the play. You may look at it and think he was safe. I may look at it and think that he was out. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't know that anything that we saw was so conclusive that it could change the call on the field. And that is what the officials need to see. Bottom of the second coming up, 1-0 game. Smith to lead off the inning. Kick and fire. Strike. C.J. Smith with a couple of hits in the 20-13 ball game. Scored 2 runs, drove in a run, had a double and a single. Had a couple of tremendous defensive plays, and boy, oh boy, he was causing absolute chaos on the base paths with his speed a couple of times in that 20-13 ball game. Kick and fire. Sweeps outside. Scheduled for 6 innings, but in case you weren't with us for the very beginning of the ball game, as I was talking about it, yeah, we're scheduled for 6 innings, but I doubt we'll get there. No, I mean, look, if we get a pitcher's duel, we might get there, but the way these two teams have been hitting and the way the week has gone, and both teams are getting a little thin on pitching, kids are getting tired. That's why you see these explosive, high-run ball games. We might get to 6 innings. That's what we're scheduled for, but we are going to be under a time limit at short, sort of first. Oh, great stretch at first for the out. Smith retired on the 6-3 ground out. And here's Cash Clayton. Cash Clayton had himself a good ball game here a little earlier. His reward was getting moved up in the lineup. On base twice with a single and a walk. Outfielder for Texas. 0-1 count to him. And he shows a keen eye to take that one. Draw the count to 1-1. An hour and 45 minutes is the time limit on this one. Again, as we start to get a little bit closer, I'll dive into that in greater depth. Great play there Good job by the first baseman, Nico Moritz, to field and flip to his pitcher covering. 3-1 in your scorecard. Takes down Clayton. And here's Caleb Gafford. Right-handed hitter, waving the wand and taking a strike. Well, the energy battle right now between the two fan bases really, really something. Both fan bases on each side of the field. I hope you can hear some of that audio. Both on their feet, dancing around, shaking the noisemakers, trying to keep the kids awake. No, but trying to add a little extra energy to the affair. We are, of course, playing after 10 p.m. Eastern Time here in Metro Atlanta. If you're joining us in Virginia, same time frame, of course, Eastern Time. Texas, a little bit behind us. Thanks for joining us for Travel Ball Select, the national championships on Facebook Live. No matter how or where you may be joining us this evening, you can do so on your tablet, laptop, cell phone. 2-1. 3-1. Still no base runners for this vaunted Texas offensive attack. The offense has been dominant for a long, long time with this cast of kids. And while they've scored some runs, of course, in bracketed play, oh my, Gafford hit. So he ends up at first base the hard way. That one just got away from Rodriguez Dubont. And here's Shea Holiday. By the way, a few moments ago with that challenge, on the replay at the end of that last half inning, Mike Colangelo challenged the call, the stolen base attempt, of course. He lost that challenge call, so he's now down to one. Down to one challenge remaining for the ball game is Virginia. Shea Holiday, hit by a pitch, reached on an E5 in the last ball game. Throw down, they've got him. Tried to sneak in there and swipe that second base bag. Maybe a little bit of indecision. It ends up being the end of the inning. Great tag applied by Fuller. And a tremendous, look at that. Lost his glove, had to grab his glove up off the ground, reach into the mitt, and pull the baseball out. What a great, great play by the catcher, Rivera. And that'll be the frame. We stay at 1-0. Top half of the third inning in a 1-0 ball game. Texas having a runner gunned down on the base paths last inning. And in this third, William Beck finds his team trailing 1-0. Zach Tavares, the first man in the visitors' half of this third frame. Tavares extremely active in many ways in that 20-13 win. He was on base 3 times, 2 walks, a single, scored a few runs, drove in a run. But keep in mind, he was also the man who ended up with the win on the mound. Multiple innings of relief. Did he get to 3 innings? I will beg your pardon. I don't have his final line here in front of me. But I'll tell you, I think he pitched 3 full innings and maybe more in the 20-13 ball game. Well, 3 full innings, but he came in relief, if memory serves. I'll beg your pardon for not having that right in front of me. But Tavares, definitely the man who earned the win and accrued the final few innings of that ball game, along with having a good offensive ball game. Stays high, leadoff walk. Here's Luke Gladchuck. Oh, baby, we've got a ball call. And so Tavares will move down to the second base bag, runner in scoring position. Gladchuck with a chance at an RBI. On base 3 times from the 10 spot in the lineup in the 20-13 ball game. 2 singles and a walk. Scored a run and drove in 2. Now he's got a chance at an RBI here. I wonder if... Well, it doesn't look like Coach is going to make the move. Just having ourselves a little bit of a conversation. Right now, the energy battle on the sidelines is in the battle of the fans and the parents. The friends and family is an entertaining one, but I think right now the edge is going to the Virginians. Plus, we've got one lady down there in an Avengers t-shirt, so I might have to give them the edge anyway, just because I'm a massive Avengers person. I digress. Even with a bag at first and at third. Strike. 2-1 count. Straight away in left and center, and slightly to pull and right. I think Gladchuck can get around on Beck, and he does, but this one he lashes foul. And as you would expect, they'd be back in the middle infield. Now Beck threw him something off speed, and there's no doubt that the tiny Titan Luke Gladchuck was expecting a fastball because he was out in front considerably on the curve. Beck throws him another one, but it stays up. Didn't quite break for him. So now a full count pitch coming up. Roddy set from the stretch and deals. A ground ball down to first. Little 4-hopper out there. No problem for Caleb Gafford, who'll step on the bag. Glad Chuck retired 3 unassisted. Does a good job of checking the runner. 1 man out. It's Tavares at third on the advancement of the ground ball. So basically, he does his job. Oh, that ball did hit him. The top of the order, and Jared Grindlinger, he's hit by a pitch. So now 2 men on at the corners with 1 man out. Let's take another look at this. Tough for me to see from this angle. So I'll say it hit him before it hit the ground. Squaring to bunt, and it's foul. Nico Moritz. Love that call of aggression from the coaching staff for Virginia. Especially with a left-hander in the box, facing a right-hander. Third baseman even with the bag. They're holding the runner at first, back in the middle infield. 0-1 count. Now 1-1. Give Moritz the left field line. If he can serve it over there. Two and one. Offered at the first. And an opportunity to bunt for a hit, and he fouled it off. 2 straight balls since. This one he serves into right. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Ends up with the RBI just the same. RBI single. Nico Moritz, 2-0, Virginia. Tavares scored. Grindlinger makes his way along the base paths. We're seeing the coaching change, or the pitching change, I beg your pardon. We'll talk more about it when we come back. Broadcasting live from Lake Point Sports Complex in Metro Atlanta. Lake Point Sports, I beg your pardon. Tongue twisted after all this action today. The premier youth sports destination in the country, where the top baseball players from around America come to play on their 8 all-turf major league size baseball fields with state-of-the-art live streaming and video on-demand technology. Learn more about this beautiful 1,300-acre campus at lakepointsports.com. That's lakepointsports.com. Virginia 2, Texas nothing. Top half of the third inning with the Stars still at the plate. There you see the coaching decision and the change that's been made. Kick and fire from the right-hander, and that one across for a strike. The new man on the mound. is Colby Taylor. Taylor, who spent a great deal of the 20-13 ball game behind the plate at catcher. Sometimes you'll hear some travel ball folks tell you that sometimes the best relievers you can bring into a ball game are the kids who play catcher, for obvious reasons, of course. Juan Rivera, no fan of that last call. 1-2 count. He's not been happy with the strike zone in this ball game, to say the least. He was also a strikeout victim, caught looking in the first. Taylor kicks and fires. And that one will sweep off the corner for ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top half of the third inning, 1 man across the plate in the frame. Virginia leads Texas 2-0. 2 men on the base pads. Make it 3-2. You've got Jose Rodriguez Dubron on deck. Texas wants one turned over in the worst way. Rivera gone. Caught looking once again. A massively important strikeout, potentially. Let's take another look. Well, you know what? Again, whether or not you agree with the call, you just can't take that pitch. That's what a coach will tell him in a spot like that. Say, son, look, it might not have been a strike. You might be right. You probably are right. But the thing is, you just can't take it when it's that close and 2 strikes. Taylor kicks and fires, and it's fouled down the right field line. And he's ahead quickly, 0-2 on his counterpart on the mound, Rodriguez Dubron, who doubled his first time up, his second at-bat in as many innings. In fact, he's the man who started that second inning with his double. They later scored their first run of the ball game. Rodriguez Dubron was erased off the base paths as Leach hit into a fielder's choice. Leach eventually came around to score. Runners both breaking, and they'll both have stolen bases. So the deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. 2-0 Virginia. Kick and fire. Curveball outside corner, called strike 3. Taylor gets out of the jam. Back-to-back, backward Ks. Taylor works his way out of it and keeps us at a 2-0 ball game. Fans, don't forget, baseball games here at Lake Point are available for streaming on any device via Lake Point Live. Powered by PlaySite, the state-of-the-art live streaming and video on-demand service. Lake Point Live makes viewing the baseball players and games easy for coaches, scouts, and all fans. Shea Holiday back to the plate, where he was when we had ourselves a caught stealing last inning. So Holiday, the leadoff man, in the bottom of the third. Six-three, put out. Kept his foot on the bag. Good play by Moritz. Well, how about that? Rodriguez Dubron has still faced the minimum as we're into this third inning. Roddy's set, and he deals. He hit him, not quite. Taylor was able to dance out of the way of it. Colby Taylor. Strike. Taylor with consecutive singles in the first and second inning of the 20-13 ball game, then a line out and a walk. So he's on the base paths 3 times in that affair. And stays high and away. 2-1 count. Three hits for Virginia. 2 runs. Swing and a miss. Couple of walks offensively for Virginia. They've been hit by a pitch as well. Went down 1-2-3 in the first inning, but then a double, a single. Plated a run in the second inning. That one a cue shot foul. Then a walk, a hit batter, an RBI single. Plated a single run in the third. That's how they produced their 2-0 lead. This ball game, the complete opposite of what we saw here earlier between these two teams. Liner right at second, 2 men out. Taylor retired in an L4. Matter of fact, that's the second time in as many ball games he's done that. And here's Jake Ussery. And Jake Ussery is the man who started the 20-13 game. Amazing. That was what? 5 hours ago? Yeah, something like that. Maybe more. Jake ended up with 2 at-bats. How's this for an odd line score? He ended up with 2 at-bats. He was pinch hit for later in the ball game. Both of his at-bats coming in the same inning, but that was all the action he got. He singled and was able to steal a base in the second inning of the 20-13 ball game, and then he also made the last out of that inning with a ground out to short. That was a massive second inning they had in that 20-13 ball game. Scored 5 runs, had a 10-3 lead. Lost 20-13. This a drive in the right and pretty well struck. Right fielder coming on for it. That one going to one hop over the fence. Alex Ussery. Jake Ussery, I beg your pardon. Not to be confused with a kicker I covered for many years. Jake drives one. That one hops the wall. It'll be a ground rule double, and that will be the first hit of the ball game for Texas. Delivered by the 9th place man in the lineup. And now Jackson McKnight. Tying run at the plate. Fastball inside. Finally a scoring threat for Texas. Fouled away. A little bit of a conversation there between two teammates. Righties 1-1. Down and outside. Check the runner, and he's back easily. Strike. Don't think Jackson liked the call, but I think he liked even less that he didn't pull the trigger on it. That was a hittable pitch. Rodriguez Dubront deals, and that one low and away once more. So the counts run to 3-2. Rodriguez Dubront has shown a pattern in this at-bat. You'll wonder if McKnight has noticed. This should be hard and over the outside corner. It is, and it's fouled away. This time McKnight was ready for it. Now, will he stay on form and throw him something off speed, a little bit lower and further away than the hard stuff he just threw? Because that appears to be the pattern. Or do you figure that McKnight figured you out and got a piece of your fastball just a moment ago? And so you try to change it up. The intricacies of baseball. This will be interesting with a 3-2 coming. Outside and in the dirt, and it gets away. So a 2-out walk, and, of course, the runner advances. And that's Cardenas, I believe, that has come into courtesy run for Ussery. Check that. Janelle Rodriguez. Janelle Rodriguez. Top of the order. Colson Cajal. Cajal. Swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Big moment in the ball game. 2 men out. 0-1 count. Tying runs on the pads. Rodriguez dancing down that third base line. We don't catch it from this camera angle, but on the pitch, he's a good, and I'm not exaggerating here, 12 feet off the line. Maybe 10. Outside corner. Deep drive to right. Moving back and making the catch for the out. Boy, oh boy, that ball just kind of died up there in right field, and it ended up hanging up for the right fielder. 2 men on, but they're both stranded. We stay at 2-0. Bottom of the fourth inning. We're zooming along all of a sudden here. Somebody would have lost a house if you had bet them that we'd head into the top of the fourth inning, past the halfway mark of this ball game, in a 2-0 ball game, where we'd have a combined, 1, 2, 3, 4 hits in the affair, 2 runs and 4 hits through 6 trips to the plate for each of these clubs. Well, I'm sorry, 3 trips for each club, obviously. You know what I mean, 6 total as we've made our way to the fourth inning. We might make it to 6 innings without the time limit coming into play. Oh, you just never know, do you? The grand old game will surprise you just when you think you've got it figured out. Taylor walks the leadoff man here in the fourth, and that's Leach. Here's Chase Colangelo. Singled in his only other plate appearance. That was back in the second. He was eventually stranded on the base paths. Oh, 2 count. Taylor deals. Little show me pitch. No need for an 0-2 to be close. Chopper foul. Virginia's 4th game of the day. 3rd for Texas. Oh, got him. Called strike 3, outside corner. Right at the letters. Of course, in saying right at the letters, that's being generous. Colangelo caught looking. And here's Chase Fuller. One man gone in the fourth. Remember the witching hour. Our time limit of 1:45 comes rolling around, and, well, as a matter of fact, a little over a half hour from now. Texas, depending on the way things work out, I don't know if they'll get more than one more opportunity, quite frankly. That's the other thing that really comes into play that people don't understand about youth baseball, travel baseball. When you have these time limits, man, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Line past the glove of the first baseman and into right field, all the way to the wall. Teagan had no idea where the baseball was. Stayed at the second base bag. And the biggest pet peeve of coaches everywhere, the base runner not picking up their third base coach. Fuller ends up with a double out of it, does a great job of going the other way with his swing. I'm not trying to pick on Teagan Leach. He would not have been able to score on the play just the same, but he had to scramble to get to the third base bag because he lost the ball on the play. He had his head turned around trying to find the baseball. Guys, that's not what you do. You always just want to look forward to your third base coach because it's his job to watch the baseball. Here's Yogi Colangelo. Swing and a miss. Well, the way it looks like, offense is at a premium tonight. And the way Jose Rodriguez Dubront has pitched so well against the Texas lineup, this is a massive moment in the ball game at 2-0. Swing and a miss. If you're Colangelo and you could deliver a one-out hit here and plate 1, maybe 2 runs, make it 3 or 4-0, especially 4-0, that would be big, very big. 2-2. Colangelo walked his last time up. Was caught stealing in the inning. That was the replay moment we got into, where people are still split here in the press box as to whether or not he was out or safe. And I got to tell you, either side could be right. That was one of those that is really fun to debate, because he could have been out, he could have been safe. You could see both sides of the argument. Colangelo, once again, has drawn a walk. So the bases are loaded with one man out. Zach Tavares will be coming to the plate. Right now he's talking to his third base coach, but beforehand, looks like Corey Gafford going to come out and have a conversation with his young right-hander. Last ball game of the week here in Metro Atlanta. Kick and fire. And he hit him. Taylor caught him on either the hand or the wrist. It forces in a run, and it is 3-0. A hit batter with the bases loaded. How about that? Now Luke Gladchuk. Great speed on the pads. Outside corner. Strike 1. Nearly hit him again. Ball gets away. Covering at the plate. There'll be no play. 4-0, Virginia. Colangelo moves down to third. Tavares moves down to second. Again, you know the Banditos black team. You know their reputation. You know their high-scoring offense. But tonight, in this second national championship game, it just has not been there. So I don't know if it's me being hyperbolic or not to say this, but it's possible I could be right. So I guess I'll utter the phrase, a base hit here, and Texas could be in a bit of big trouble. See how I left myself an out there? Bit of big trouble? Maybe, possibly. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Taylor looks in, finds a sign that he likes, and brings to Gladchuk. Three and 2. Ripped foul. I had Chuck ready for that one, wasn't he? And again, the topic that I broached a little earlier. In these timed ball games, your best defense sometimes is a good offense. You can be productive offensively and that work in your favor even without scoring runs if you can put together a long inning, some lengthy at-bats, because then you're wearing time off the clock. Sure, it's good news that 2 runs have come across the plate here in the top half of the 4th inning, but it's also good news that you're burning through the time limit. If you're Virginia, of course. Less than a half hour left with the time limit in this ball game. Ripped to right and foul. So you wonder how many cracks at it will Texas have remaining? Virginia might be able to put it away here. Low cue shot foul. Greindlinger on base once. Hit by a pitch his last time up. Matter of fact, that was just last inning. Off the corner. 0-2 count. I'm sorry, 1-2 count, obviously. Drive to right. It's going to hang up there. Chance at the sacrifice fly. Dribble the ball and drop the ball. They're going to still give him the out. Everyone tagged and scored just the same. Colangelo going to come home to score. It'll be a sacrifice fly RBI for Greindlinger. Good call. Great call by the field umpire. That was lost in the exchange from glove to hand. Runner at third tagged and moved ahead to the third base bag. Runner at second, I'm sorry, of course. Tagged and moved to the third base bag. That's Tavares. Gladchuck still at the first base bag. Check that. Now at the second base bag, and Tavares is coming to the plate. Feet for a slide, and he's safe. 4 runs in the inning, a 6-0 Virginia lead. Aggression. Gladchuck goes to steal the base at second. There he is. The throw is made through by the catcher. Tavares decides to go for it. Wait a minute now. Tavares decides to go for it, comes down to the plate. It's a bang play at the plate, by the way. This is going to be close. On the first look of that replay, I thought it was possible he may have been out. Not sure if we're about to see a challenge. Would be the first of this ball game coming from Texas. And we're about to get another great look at it. Great job by our crew here, by the way. Not just saying that because I'm working with them. I mean, top flight, top notch, unbelievable crew. Patrick, Amy. Brandon Mincy as well. What are we checking here, Rick? Are we checking the second base play or the home plate play?
Play at second base.
All right.
Can you run it back?
So the runner is going to be safe at the plate. And we're checking to see the call at the second base bag coming up right here.
Not enough to overturn it. Nice stand.
So he'll be safe. Posted up at the second base bag, and meanwhile, 4 runs have now come across in this inning. Virginia may be on the verge unless this vaunted Texas offense comes back to life. Man alive, they might be on the verge of icing this thing away. Run rule, by the way, is 10 after 4. I have to bring it up. The Stars could add 4 more runs to the tally sheet here. Stars' future, if they could get to 10, then they'd be 3 outs away from winning the national championship. The time limit I'm being asked here in the press box is about 11:22 or so that we're shooting for. But that might be null and void. Runner breaking, third base bag. He's got it. Nico Moritz to the plate now. Four more runs would make it 10-0. Run rule is 10 after 4. Looper, left field, base hit. Left fielder coming across to cut it off, but it is an RBI double just the same. Second RBI in as many at-bats for Nico Moritz. He's got a single and a double and 2 runs batted in. And there is 33 standing on the second base bag. Seven to nothing now, Stars Futures from Virginia. Here's Juan Rivera. Rivera, their big slugger, 0 for 2. Been called out on strikes. Each time he lashes this one into left field for a base hit. That one going to head all the way to the wall, making an 8-0 ball game. Rivera looking for second, head for slide and safe. Now the talk of the run rule is a reality, as Jose Rodriguez Dubront comes to the plate. Look at this. Line drive into the gap in left center field. Now, Texas would be, again, we know we're going to have a lot of people out there watching who are, as I like to call them, the uninitiated. May not be up on the rules here. When I talk about mercy rule, run rule, and that rule being 10-run differential between the two teams after 4, that means that Texas, as the home team, would still get to hit in the bottom of the 4th. And if they still trailed by 10 after that 4th inning worth of at-bats, the ball game would then be over. Left field line and foul. And don't you know that the Virginia crowd knows it down below us, as they've started to ratchet up their energy once more. They've been alive all throughout this one. Jose Rodriguez Dubront. A double and a strikeout in this ball game. Oh, and he strikes out here. Oh, that one even caught me by surprise. So it stays at 8-0. But with the time limit, this next half inning, this could be it for Texas in the national championship game. They'll enter the bottom of the 4th trailing 8-0. 3 hits, 3 walks in the top half of the 4th inning. Helping Virginia plate 6 runs in the frame. And now it appears pulling away from Texas in the national championship game. Donut in the 1st inning for Virginia. Single sticks in the 2nd and 3rd, and then a 6 spot in the 4th. Meanwhile, practically all zeros for Texas, remarkably, offensively. You wonder if they've just finally hit the wall. Alex Hernandez to lead things off in this 4th inning. Hernandez, a strikeout victim, his first time up. It started right off the bat offensively for Texas, as Jose Rodriguez Dubront struck out the side in the 1st inning. I'd love to ask somebody affiliated with that Banditos team, when was the last time they struck out in a 1-2-3 inning, all 3 batters? Because their offense and that team is so good and so prolific. But that's what happened, and that was kind of a sign of things to come. Jose Rodriguez Dubront, by the way, is now out of the ball game, and Nico Moritz has taken over for him. Moritz pitched in the 20-19 ball game. Little blooper falls into right center field for a base hit. Only the 2nd base hit of the ball game for Texas. And again, with the time being such as it is, this is the miracle moment that Texas needs. The time limit will roll around at about 11:22 or 11:23 or so. So we're now closing in on 10 after 11 Eastern time. This is most likely going to be the last at-bat of the ball game for Texas, and they'll need a miracle comeback. Francisco Soria at the plate now. He was one of the aforementioned 3 men to strike out in the 1st inning at the beginning of this ball game. Soria delivered a 2-run home run in the 1st inning of the 20-13 ball game between these 2 teams earlier today. In fact, he's the man who played at the very first runs of that ball game with his monster 2-run shot. He delivered that, and we were off and running. Again, if you haven't been with us all throughout the day, maybe you texted one of your loved ones, and they said, "No, we're still playing." And you said, "Wait, what? Still playing? What time is it there?" That's right, we're still playing because we had a marathon of a matchup between these 2 teams. 20-13 was the final. And again, this is the 3rd time these 2 teams have met today. They played at 10:30 over on field 13, and that was a 9-8 ball game. A lot of people thought that was a long one. But these 2 teams got together, walked each other a combined 22 times, and 20-13 was the final. Virginia defeated Texas. That set up this winner-take-all national championship game between the number 1 seed and the number 3 seed throughout this long and winding week. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change this quick, huh? Possibly so, as Mike Colangelo comes out there, maybe making the change. 2 men on with nobody out. I don't think Colangelo doesn't know the time remaining in this ball game as far as that time limit goes. Soria earns the walk after the single by Hernandez. If you're going to put together a miracle comeback, you got the right guys coming to the plate. If you're Banditos Black, started with the number 2 man, he singled. The number 3 man, he walked. And now C.J. Smith, your cleanup hitter. 0 for 1. Tested the shortstop in the 2nd inning and lost that battle. Moritz kicks and fires. A strike. It's been a great week here at the Lake Point Sports Complex in Emerson, Georgia, here in Metro Atlanta. We'd like to send out our hearty thanks to so many folks involved in putting together this championship tournament. Travel Ball Select, Lake Point. Hit by pitch. First 3 men reach in the 4th inning. Those 3 men equaling the previous amount of base runners had by Texas in the first 3 innings. 1, 2, 3, Texas went down in the first. They had a hit batter in the 2nd inning. He was caught stealing. And then got a double and a walk last inning. And obviously both of those men were stranded as well. This is a liner caught by first baseman. Step on the bag, fire to second. It'll be a double play, and it was nearly a triple play. Cash Clayton hits into the lineout. Was it 3-6 or 3-5? We'll get another look. Oh, what a great piece of hitting and what a great defensive play by the first baseman. Ooh. That was shortstop covering. We are having a challenge.
You're absolutely 100% right.
Call on the field was safe. Call on the field is upheld. So 2 men out. And just 1 man on. Well, check that. 2 men on, I beg your pardon. Obviously, it's 2nd and 3rd. A line out, 3-6 double play. And here's Caleb Gafford. Gafford was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. Later caught on the base pads. Shot foul and out of play. Closing in on 11:15 Eastern Standard Time here in the capital of the South. Curve drops in for a strike. Right field, the call and the catch. Sailing by, 8-0. Fifth inning. The narrow line between time and baseball. Because this top half of the fifth inning starts before we hit the time limit, which is only 5 minutes away, by the way. Texas will have one last shot at it in the bottom half of the fifth. Now, how big would it have been if you were Texas to have just scraped across 2 runs, maybe even 3, that last inning? Baseball, the ultimate game of inches, quite obviously. As that ball was caught on the line drive to the first baseman. This is Leach. Reaches out and pokes one up the middle. Fielded at second. Great play to throw off balance and gun down the fifth place hitter. Leach is retired. 4-3. In the bottom of the fifth inning, it'll be Shea Holiday, Colby Taylor, and Jack Ussery, your scheduled 3. See if we have any changes made. Here's Chase Colangelo. Colangelo started with a strike. And because we start this top half of the fifth inning before the time limit, Texas gets another shot at it. They'll trail at least 8-0. Called strike 3, outside corner. That's the second consecutive time that Colangelo's been down on the backwards K. Singled back in the second. Here's Chase Fuller. So 2 quick outs in this top half of the fifth. Chase delivered a big double back in that fourth inning. That was just last inning. They delivered those 6 runs. This one he lashes into left. May die before the left fielder gets there. No, sir. Great catch out in left. And that'll be the frame. Bottom half of the inning coming up. Virginia, 3 outs away from a national title. And so it was, the bottom half of the fifth inning. And the end of a long and winding week of youth baseball here in Metro Atlanta. National champions crowned. And we end this week inside of the 11U classification. Virginia trying to finish off a national championship. Take down one of the finest from the Lone Star State, Banditos Black. It'll be Shea Holiday to lead things off. Stars 3 outs away from the title. Holiday an 0 for 1 day. Grounded out to the shortstop to lead off the third inning. Just 2 hits in the ball game. 2 walks, 2 hit batters. So 6 base runners in the affair for Texas, by my count. A single, a double, 2 walks, 2 hit batters. Moretz kicks and fires. Cut on and missed. 1-2 count. Well, this will be a day that many will remember in the 3 matchups between these 2 teams. Drive to right and pretty well struck. Back on it, the right fielder there for the call and the catch. 1 man gone. F9 for Holiday. Texas won the morning game, 10:30 a.m., 9-8 final. The 2 teams undefeated in bracketed play. That put Texas into the national championship game as Colby Taylor comes to the plate. And meanwhile, Virginia had to go down into the elimination bracket. They won their next ball game after losing to Texas easily, 11-3 over one of Georgia's finest. In fact, that was a meeting of number 2 versus number 3. They beat Dingers Athletics of the state of Georgia by an 11-3 final. And that got them back into the championship game of the rematch with Texas. A ball game that they once trailed 10-3, but then won 20-13. Tipped by the pitcher. Chase Fuller throws to first. Out number 2. (1-6-3) on the putout. And then that brought us, as Virginia won that 20-13 ball game, into this winner-take-all single ball game between 2 of the best teams in America, each with 1 loss. It was a nip-and-tuck affair early. 2-0 Virginia. Both teams trying to scrape across runs and find the offense where they could. And then it all broke loose in the 4th inning. A 4th inning where Virginia was able to plate 6 runs with 3 walks and 3 hits. All 3 of the hits doubles in the inning. Not sure what we've got going on here. Jake Ussery, the last hope, doubled in his only other plate appearance, and here's a strike. You're going to see yourself quite the eruption of emotion here in just a few moments. Outside corner, 0-2. Nico Moretz looks in. Lefty finds a sign that he likes and delivers a fastball off the corner. Try it again. 2-2. Lefty versus righty. Got him swinging. Virginia wins the national championship. A celebration in the stands, a celebration on the field. We won't get our dog pile in the age of COVID-19. That's disappointing. It is one of the great scenes in all of sports, but we get an energetic, enthusiastic celebration nonetheless. Stars Futures, based out of Virginia, many of whom come from Northern Virginia, a great prep athletic hotbed, especially in baseball, if you know your Major League Baseball history. a proud baseball area. Comes down to Metro Atlanta, takes out one of the great programs in national travel ball out of the state of Texas in Banditos Black, and they do so by winning consecutive ball games in the national championship. 2013 a little bit earlier, 8-0 here. Stars Futures from the state of Virginia wins the 2020 Travel Ball Select 11U National Championship. For our entire crew here at the Lake Point Sports Complex in Metro Atlanta, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Thanks for joining us for Travel Ball Select on Facebook Live.